All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we're going to talk about Jaron Boots Ennis being the most talented man in boxing, more so than Terence Bud Crawford and Errol Spence Jr., and that out of the mouth of one of the best welterweights to fight in the last decade or so, SHAWN Showtime Porter, and what that really means for the 147-pound division and the truth of where we really are as far as finding out who the best fighter in that division, and I think maybe the best fighter in the world is. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon. In this video, we're going to be at 147 pounds, and we are going to be talking about one of the best fighters in the world who has a fight date that should be announced shortly, and some things that have been said by two incredible fighters. Well, one guy's an incredible fighter. The other one's just a heck of a fighter, a really, really good fighter, and that is Shakur Stevenson and SHAWN Showtime Porter. And now, before I get into that, though, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you are new to the channel, please accept my invitation to hit that subscribe button. If you are a longtime subscriber and supporter, hey, thank you so much for your continued support. It really, really does mean a lot. This particular video, I'm going to give a shout out to my guy, Valley, who's always in the comment section. And thank you to all the other supporters that support in the super chat, the Cash App, and in the super thanks, as you can see below this video, because that really is how, as creators, we're able to continue to put these products out. All right, so let's get into this, man. Everybody talks about Errol Spence Jr. and Terence Crawford, those guys fighting, for welterweight supremacy. Two of the guys that are both, commonly listed in the top, 3 or 4 best fighters in the world, and and as the number 1 and the number 2 welterweights. But according to SHAWN Porter, who recently was giving an interview, and also according to Shakur Stevenson, that may not actually be true, that there is a guy in that division who is on the come up named Jaron Ennis that is more talented. This is what SHAWN Porter said, that is more talented than Errol Spence Jr. or Terence Crawford. And that he thinks that he, over time, obviously, because he's not going to be able to get a fight with these guys anytime soon, it probably will prove that he is the best fighter in boxing. Now, when SHAWN Porter said that, first of all, I think that is very interesting, because I listened to what like Andre Ward has to say about Boots, and like Keith Thurman has to say about it, and a lot of other people talk about Stephen Breadman's Edwards, trainer, the trainer for Caleb Plant. I do believe he just trained Caleb Plant for that fight that he had the knockout over Andre Darrell with They talk about the different generations of fighters, and how, you have Errol Spence and Terence Crawford, who are in one generation of fighters. And then you have, or era of fighters. And then you have, you have Jaron Ennis and Virgil Ortiz, who are in a separate era of boxing, right? Now, that is all fine and good for saying, okay, well, who do you think is going to practically fight right now? Are they going to actually take these fights? But, as far as saying who the actual best fighter is right this second, those eras really don't make a difference as to who is the best fighter right now. And if you want to prove that you are the best fighter right now, you have to fight the best fighters that are around you right now, regardless of whether you're 35 and they're 18, or you're 22, you're 22 and they're 34, right? Similar, just how you look at Jaron Ennis, and people say, well, I need to see him fight these other guys, these older guys, in order for me to know how good he is. Well, it may be the case that you need to see those guys fight him so that you know how good they are. I think that it works both ways. And in a particular case with Jaron Ennis, if he can actually beat Terence Crawford, if he can beat Errol Spence Jr., and those guys are not fighting one another, then the question then goes to, okay, well, when are you going to fight him? Right now, I'm a Errol Spence Jr. fan for sure. I like Terence Crawford. I consider myself a Terence Crawford fan too, or I have been for a very long time. All of these hijinks around this contract and this fight with with Errol Spence Jr., to me just makes it seem like, he didn't want the fight. So that dampens it a little bit for me. But at the same time, I can see that there's somebody in that division that has a chance to beat both of them. And if we're not going to get that fight, then let's see this one. If Terence Crawford is going to fight David Avancian, and the next bout is not with Errol Spence Jr., how about you fight Boots? If Errol Spence Jr. doesn't have to enforce his mandatory, does not have to literally fight his mandatories for the WBC and the WBA before the IBF, fight Jaron Ennis, and let's see the fight. And let's see who the best man is. Regardless of whether or not this guy is 25 years old and the other guy is 32 years old. I can understand the 32-year-old not wanting to do it, right? And I can understand the 25-year-old really, really wanting to do it. But whoever the best is who the best is. Now, with Shawn Porter specifically, not Shawn Porter, but what Shakur Stevenson said when he was asked on $1 Million Worth of Game podcast, was asked, who are your top 5 fighters in boxing? He said, well, Canelo was really high for me, but excluding himself, he said, he mentioned Terence Crawford, Errol Spence Jr., Gervonta Davis, Boots, right? And it's like, okay, Boots came up for him. Boots is coming up for Showtime, Shawn Porter. When you have guys like Roy Jones Jr. hearing that Boots is being compared to him, a man with that gigantic of an ego about his ability, and I'm not saying it's an undeserved ego. It is very, very well deserved. Roy Jones Jr. was like that. He says, yeah, I see that. When they say, yeah, this kid is the most talented or could be the best fighter that I've seen since Roy Jones Jr., Roy Jones Jr. says, yeah, I can see that. You have Floyd Mayweather Jr. saying the same thing. All of these, these guys are not blind, right? These are not blind. So as we shift from the conversation about a bout that very well may never take place, hey, what about this one? And also, I want to draw another little parallel. Sonny Liston fought a guy that was in the same situation that Boots is in right now, and the guy's name was Cassius Clay in the beginning, like in the lead up to the fight. I think he changed it right before the fight, but fought Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali was 22 years old and he was in his 30s. And that fight was made. It wound up being, a historic fight and a huge upset for Ali. But it's something that really did put Ali on the map and allowed him to, kick off a career that is, almost unparalleled in the history of boxing, because he was allowed to have that opportunity at such a young age. And I think maybe Jaron Ennis should be able to get that too. But anyway, that's my take on the matter. You let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Peace.